Hello, it's us, it's you, we're here, together. Why are we here? For another exciting week on You Can't Disappoint a Podcast, Argentina's number 5 television show podcast.
And I don't think we've kept that. I think we've been drastically falling since, but we're going to wear that badge proudly for the rest of our lives. Welcome to the show. You can officially support You Can't Disappoint a Podcast now on Patreon at patreon.com/can'tdisappointpodcast. It's the place to go to help us move this show forward, and there's all kinds of exclusive content, fun interaction, events with Steven and myself, and all types of ways to influence our show on a weekly basis. So please consider supporting us on Patreon.
If you want to get in on the action, make sure you email us your trivia, your MVP, and your funniest moments from that week's episode over to our email at can'tdisappointpodcast@gmail.com, and we will read it right here on the show.
We sure will, even if you beg us not to. Also, hang out with us on the socials every week off the podcast. You know, we're on Facebook and YouTube under our podcast title. You can also find us on Instagram at Can't Disappoint Podcast and Twitter, where we probably do the most of our jovial lollygaggery at You Can't Disappoint. So come hang out with us over there.
Yeah, make sure you you smash that like and subscribe button.
Give us that attention that we so desperately crave.
Yeah, throw us your hearts, your wallets, and a couple kisses here and there, and we'll keep on pushing out this baby of ours that we call You Can't Disappoint a Podcast.
With 11 votes cast, 11, come on, people. The landslide winner of the student election with 7 votes is South Park. Okay, you know what? I seem to recall this is why we abolished student government in the first place. This is exactly what happened 10 years ago.
You like my new giant water bottle?
Is it one of those ones that says, like, 10 a.m., you got this, girl, 1 p.m.
I wish. My mom wants one of those really badly.
Keep slurping, 3 p.m. Keep drinking that water, you fat bitch, 5 p.m. This is why your husband left you. If you had drank enough water. Yeah.
Yeah, well, ladies like those.
Hello, everyone. It's a beautiful week. Welcome back to You Can't Disappoint a Podcast, one and all, everyone's favorite. I'm Zach, and who do you want shaking Joe Biden's hand at 5 p.m.? Me or...
Good morning, Vietnam. I'm Vice President Joe Biden. Or Steven, if you're nasty.
Is that how he still likes to introduce himself?
Yeah.
He's a quaint guy.
He's humble.
And I am nasty, so I'm happy to have you here, Steven. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. It's Thursday.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, it's April Fool's, and I'm gonna be real. I have a traumatizing memory when it attached to April Fool's.
Yeah, I think you've told the story on the show before. Didn't it involve water being poured on you?
Yeah, by my punk-ass brother.
It was a solid prank, but you got water dumped on you, and that sucks.
Yeah, at like 5:45 a.m. when I was a grumpy high schooler.
Yeah. But we've been kind of pranking it up. You know, it's after the fact now. We dropped April Fool's podcast where we talked about an episode of Arrested Development and pretended like it's what we had always done. And
that was
changed
so much
all
fun.
of our social media to it for a day. It was fun. I love Arrested Development. And now that it's after the fact, if you were confused by it and skipped over it, if you like Arrested Development, go check out that extra podcast where we did an episode of that. That was super fun. I want to shout out, before we do too much, our $10 and up patrons over at patreon.com/can'tdisappointpodcast. Those are, of course, Justin Brummett, Mary Baker Budisa, Danny M. Lugo, and I'm so sorry, Brian Thurman.
Wow, you don't love our fans.
I was on a roll, so I almost slipped. I'm sorry.
I
want
to give an extra.
That's why I slipped, because I want to say it right. Yes.
That's fair. I want to give an extra shout out to Justin because his wife is pregnant. We've mentioned that on the show when he's been on the pre-show before it's come up. They just had their last ultrasound today, and he sent me some pictures of it.
I thought you were about to say they had the baby.
Oh, no, not yet.
Do they know what they're having? Yeah,
yeah,
it's going to be
a little boy.
That's so cute.
and he sent me the ultrasound pictures, and I'm super happy because it does look like a baby.
One of our close friends is about to have a baby like any week as well, so that'll be cool.
Oh yeah, they didn't do the ultrasound pictures that look like somebody like put the baby's face in like Play-Doh. They like got like the normal looking ones.
Yeah,
so that's good.
I know. Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, right. Like maybe when I have a baby, I want to see what it looks like in 3D,
in
but
Play-Doh?
I don't think I will.
Yeah,
it literally looks like somebody took like one of those little like. You know those peg things at like art museums that are really unsanitary that everyone just like put their face and hands in?
Yes.
It looks like they just stuck one of those up a vagina and smashed it on the baby and pulled it out. And we're like, this is what your kid looks like.
That's funny. Did you make that up or did you steal that?
No, I just made it up on the spot.
That was funny.
Thank you.
Good job. Score 1 for Steven
I'll
this
add it
week.
to my tight 15.
Lily and
What's the deal with ultrasounds?
Oh, I was going to segue from that and let you have a nice moment, but now you've ruined it, and It was going really well for you for a second.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Lily and I are about to get another kitten, I think, and we met the kitten or the kittens over the last couple of days, and we'll get to have them in 3 or 4 weeks, and we're really excited about that. They're so tiny and cute.
Did you attach your braid to its braid so you guys could bond?
Isn't that a sexual thing, though?
I don't know. In Avatar, he
way
did it
is
with both
yes.
his horse and Zoe Saldana. So
but
I don't
afterwards,
know.
I thought maybe I should make sure that was okay. You know, I was trying to think of what we're gonna name the kitty, and a community name would be fun, but I'd want it to be the right one. Mm-hmm. Anything come to mind?
That'd be a fun name for a pet. Just get in
Shut
here.
up, Leonard. I know about your constant hairball problem. I don't know.
There's some good ones. And
if you think of anything, send them in to us on the Twitter and whatnot.
Yeah, you should let Twitter name your cat. You should not let Twitter name your cat.
I'm sorry, are you whispering?
I was mouthing to you, but then I realized that I made a noise.
You said,
I said you should let Twitter name your cat, and then I was like, you should not let Twitter name your cat.
Twitter can name my cat if they come up with a good idea. Hashtag Twitter, hashtag Twitter, what's Zach's cat at gonna be.com / you can't disappoint a podcast. P.S. And let me know what your ideas are. I'd love to see them. I got my first COVID vaccine this morning.
Woo!
About 4 hours ago. Yeah, it was cool. We were able to sign up really easily. We didn't have to wait that long. They were super nice. We got to do it in a building that's directly across the street from where we live. It was nice. It's good.
You dare let the government implant you with this unknown technology called a vaccine? We don't know how that works.
I sure did. And it's because I'd love to start going places again.
I will say this because I know that the only person I work with that listens to the podcast is Danny. There's somebody in our company that posted recently, and he's probably in his like late 20s, early 30s, has a newborn baby that they've been letting everybody see without a mask in this world, but it's fine. And he posted like, here are my thoughts on the vaccine, because we all asked.
Oh my god.
I'm seeing it on Facebook's pushing it, Instagram's pushing it, everyone's pushing this vaccine.
Yeah,
but I think that if you're young and healthy, you should just learn healing breathing, because it's been proven to help things. So apparently if we all learn to breathe better, then we don't have to worry about COVID.
It's like, why get a vaccine when you can just do Kegels and COVID will be too scared of your
Have
powerful
you ever heard
thighs.
of yoga?
Just inject some gain into your veins. I don't know. That guy. Whatever. That sucks. Take the vaccine. You should absolutely get vaccinated.
Yeah, get the
if it's
goddamn
available to
vaccine.
you.
What the hell?
Regardless of your age, regardless of your health, and regardless of if you have had COVID or not. If you're able to get the vaccine, you should. I got it today.
Vaccine technology is not new. They've like mad cow disease. They figured out like in the early, like in the 18 goddamn hundreds. They're like, if we shoot this up in our bodies, we'll stop going nuts.
The COVID vaccine, even though it was warp sped up, The beginnings of the vaccine that I got put in my arm today has been way before this pandemic, like 10 years ago when they were working on like the SARS COVID, because coronavirus is a type of virus.
Not new,
We're not going to give people a virus lesson. Get vaccinated. Don't be an asshole. And I'm kind of a pansy when it comes to stuff. It has nothing to do with the vaccine or what's in it, but I'm kind of a pansy for getting stuck with a needle, and I know Steven's all about it. I know Steven loves nothing less.
It on a weekly basis. Stab me up!
Or loves nothing more, is what I meant. You know what I mean.
I know.
I was a little bit nervous just because I hadn't gotten a shot in a while, and I thought it was going to hurt, and I don't really care that I might get sick or so for a day, but it kind of gets me anxious before I go to get it. And literally, it felt like nothing. I did not feel it. Maybe I kind of did, but the lady was really nice, and she was like, okay, if you want, you can look over there, and I did, and she's like, all right, take a breath in, and then she did it, and it was done, and I really, really, truly hardly felt it.
That's awesome. I'm glad it's not like a giant, like, horse dick needle.
So if that's your mental gap with finding reasons not to get the vaccine, get the vaccine, bitch.
Go get the goddamn If you can get the vaccine, go get the goddamn vaccine. What the hell?
It's free. You get to take a picture and put it on Facebook, and then everyone knows you're a Democrat, and everything's great. Well,
yeah, I think I might just like go down to Texas for a day and like walk into like I don't know, Whataburger, because I think everyone
you
just
open the saloon style doors to the pharmacist, and you're like, yes, I would like one vaccination.
I kindly
please.
tip my
And they'd
10-gallon
like,
hat.
You hear this guy?
Vaccine! As they slap their knee.
Slap the knee.
I
Yeah,
imagine that,
I'll
like,
get
half
you
of
a
Texas-
vaccine.
I imagine that half of Texas is just the two guys from the SpongeBob movie that are like right by the county line.
The same.
That's just all.
Would you like that, Apple or Microsoft? Shoots guns in air. All right, well, that was fun. Let's move on to the television program Community, unless you had anything else to say. You're not able to get vaccinated yet because you live in Chicago. Like, you're able to, but getting the appointment is tough. Could you come to Indiana and get one if it takes a while?
I could.
Do you still have an Indiana ID?
I do, because I have yet to get my Illinois one, even though
I figured.
I've lived here for almost 3 years.
That's the way it goes. So I hope you're able to get it soon, and I think in 6 months we're going to go on an adventure together. We'll both be vaccinated and ready to plow. Nothing in between.
Exactly. My goal, I want to have it by June because I'm competing in Boston. I'd like to have it before I travel.
Oh, you should be able to get it before June. The only thing with that, the trickiness there is the space between the two doses, and you should wait, it should be 2 weeks after your second dose when you start finagling around. I get my second one April 29th.
Cute.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the television program Community. I'm really excited to talk about this week's episode. It's Season 2, Episode 17, Intro to Political Science. It was directed by J. Chandrasekhar. I don't know how to say his last name. I'm sorry.
J. Edgar Hoover.
J. Chandrasekhar, the guy from Super Troopers and whatnot. He previously directed Mixology Certification, and in the future he directs Applied Anthropology and Culinary Arts, The First Chang Dynasty, Advanced Documentary Filmmaking, Introduction to Teaching, Basic Story, Basic Email Security, Basic RV Repair, and Palmistry. The man's directed a lot of episodes for being kind of a bit of a celeb comedian to get to come direct your episode. And it was written by Adam County, whose previous only directing... it was written by... Did I say written the first time?
I don't listen to you when you talk.
I get it. It was written by Adam County, who previously wrote Aerodynamics of Gender, which was not a favorite. This was a high improvement over that. And in the future, he writes Curriculum Unavailable, and it originally aired on February 24th, 2011.
Wow, 2011. What a year for not being 2010, right?
What a year for political humor, right? Nowhere near an election.
Right?
And what a time to be covering an episode about political stuff when we're a couple months removed from all of the political stuff that we were very involved in, and now I'm kind of still glad that I don't have to pay attention to it quite as much.
Oh yeah, I'm happy. My favorite things are like sometimes when I'm scrolling through Instagram because I follow Trevor Noah and he'll post
I
like
love
Daily
Trevor
Show
Noah.
clips.
The Daily Show is one of my favorite of those analysis type shows. Him and John Oliver are pretty much tops.
Yeah. Hey, both John
Come on the
Oliver
show.
came from the Daily Show.
That's true.
Yeah. So did Steve Carell.
Mm-hmm.
The black guy.
And others.
Yeah. I miss I guess I don't miss him that much. Forgot his name. Who used to be the host of the Daily Show?
Jon Stewart.
I kept wanting to say John McCain, but I'm like, it's definitely not John McCain.
I miss the John McCain days. Those were the best.
Could you imagine John McCain hosting the Daily Show? He'd be like, what is this?
Let's do some trivia.
Trivia.
How many questions?
But I was gonna say,
sorry.
Joe Biden. The Fox News keeps like making up scandals. They're like, if you're vaccinated, Joe, why are you wearing a mask, huh? That's my favorite one. Okay, that's all.
What would Dr. Seuss say? Shut the f*** up, Tucker Carlson. Shut the f*** up. Tucker,
Literally.
shut the f*** up. I've got 4 questions for you this week.
I have 4 questions for you as well.
Beautiful. Go ahead and give me one, big boy.
Okay, how many classic wingers have there been, according to Abed Tally?
Like 7?
Ooh, so close. 23.
Oh, yeah. I can picture it now. I did not count the notches. Wow.
It's okay. Roman numerals, it's tough.
I don't think it was
No, it's not Roman numerals at all. It's the little
tally
marks.
marks.
Mhm.
What is the name of Joe Biden's tour?
I almost wrote this one down as a question, I think, but I don't remember it. It was like Nope.
Biden time talking about teaching
Nice.
tour.
What is Leonard's nickname?
I don't know.
It's tough. There were so many good things in that
Yes.
quick little flash cross. Kid Cincinnati.
Okay. My next one is from that same exact frame. What political party is Leonard running under?
Oh shit, I have no idea.
The Whig Party. He's running Whig.
Nice. Here's one that's a little easier. What year and location for MTV's The Real World did Jeff audition?
1997, Seattle.
Nice.
1997 was my last question. So give me one more.
What did Joe Biden dream of?
That he was a real president.
They said regular, but I'll take it.
And dreams do come true. Unfortunately, he died peacefully at the old age of 76 before that ever happened. My next question for you. Who owns a mattress store downtown?
Okay, let's bring it on. Something. Like Greg Muden?
You're really, really close.
Yeah, I knew a lot of
because it rhymed with gonna.
Greg Mudana.
Closer, but it's Greg Muldana.
Muldana.
Obviously, you can look it up.
Yeah. Nice. I do, Zachary, have one correspondence via my electronic mailbox.
Okay, yeah, not a lot of people wrote in this week, but we've been doing weird stuff with the socials this week with the Arrested Development stuff and whatever. So I want to give a shout out right up the top that you should write in for next week's episode. I looked up what it was, but it was one of the ones with the weird title, so now I've forgotten.
Unprofessional.
They'll never know. Next week, we'll be talking about custody law and Eastern European diplomacy.
That is a weird title.
I know. So if you would like to get involved with this segment of the show, write us in at can'tdisappointpodcast@gmail.com. Send us in trivia. Send us in your favorite funny moment from the episode. Send us who you think the MVP for the week is, and we will read it on the show. But what have we got for this week? Intro to Political Science.
We've got an email from our papito, our tiny dad. That's the literal translation. I guess small dad, cute little dad. I don't know. If you add
Our
Ito
twink
to something.
daddy.
Ooh, hi guys. This episode has a few great firsts. It's Vicky's first episode. F*** you, Vicky.
Yellow shirt, hat.
Yellow shirt, hat. And it's the dean's first outfit. The dean dressed as a bee like 2 weeks ago, Dad.
Oh, and also he was Lady Gaga at Halloween.
But sure. Plus they have that great Biden joke in the end with the amazing Eliza Coop. I love
Yes.
her. It's a fun one. You've watched Happy Endings, haven't you?
Yes, I very much enjoy Happy Endings. We talked about it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I like
You
Happy
really don't
Endings.
listen to what I say
She
anymore, do you?
also is on Scrubs. She plays, I don't remember her
Yes.
actual name, but JD calls her Joe. Because he thinks she's a lesbian.
If I thought hard enough about it, I could come up with it, because she was then one of the main characters for the season 9.
Mm-hmm.
And also, she's on a Hulu show called Future Man with Josh Hutcherson, and it's kind of like a sci-fi show that's really funny, that's executive produced by like Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg.
Wasn't she also in a show called, it wasn't Waiting, it wasn't...
was she a lawyer? Are you talking about that one?
No, it was like a show that had like a bunch of different like characters it followed. What was it called? I think she's a threesome in it.
Write it in at hashtag what's Zach's cat at.com.
P.S.
I hope you wrote it down earlier because I forget.
Yeah. Trivia note.
I forgot about it
This
already.
is the second reference to Jeff's age, and all we can say is that they are really inconsistent.
I wasn't paying that close of attention.
Well,
because
they said he was 19 in 1997.
Oh, okay. So that was 24 years ago. So that would make him 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. But he turns 40 later in the series.
Wow. Get it together, writers.
Yeah, come on, community.
Have a great one,
Step up.
guys. After last week's episode, me and your moms need to talk. Again? Annie has... Here's trivia. Annie has 3 ideas as president, is what it says. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Annie has 3 ideas as president? So I'm guessing that he wants to know what those ideas are.
Or he's not sure if there were or not. I think so, yes. Correct.
The black mold in the east
Yes.
stairwell.
She was going to clean up the budget by like getting rid of
rid
administration
of
redundancies or something like that.
And then there was one more, according to
Yeah, I don't know the
communities.
other one. Yeah, but he also said it was the dean's first costume.
Yeah, so what is this?
We
guy
know how that dance goes.
We'll see. And then who are
Maybe
the two
Community
people Jeff...
Daddy's starting to go a little community senile.
Oh. Who are the 2 people Jeff made up in his opening remarks? There was Jeremy, who has 2 kids and is majoring in something.
Maria.
Maria from Nicaragua, who works in the cafeteria. That made me laugh so hard.
There was one other thing that he said though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Before she's in
that
Nicaragua.
that one was really, really funny.
And then what number did Robin and Abed respectively use in Duck Duck Goose? Robin was 6 and Abed was 4.
Oh, I don't know. Good job.
Thank you. Okay, let's
Thanks,
see.
Papa.
He did give us answers. Okay, Annie's 3 ideas. Black mold, East stairwell, ACB, all cops bad, and then reduce administration.
Ass crack bandit.
Ass crack bandit.
All cops bad.
Jeremy and Maria were the second one, and then
Maybe.
Robin used 6, Abed used 4.
All right. Well, thanks for writing in, and yeah, get in on next week for what was it? Custody law and Eastern European diplomacy. That'll be a lot of fun.
Custody your kids. If that, never mind. I was gonna say if that bitch ever lets you see him again.
Let's move on to our next segment. Steven, how are you feeling? Did you do any mental push-ups?
I actually think that I can do this one because even though it's like a good episode, there's not a lot of like different storylines.
It's kind of short.
Yeah.
It's like 20 minutes and some change instead of 21 or 22
I'm
minutes.
gonna
and
go
some
for
change.
like I think I can get a bonus time one in this one.
Okay, well, when we did the Arrested Development one, you described the first, 5 seconds of the episode, and at the end of it, you said, that was 20 seconds about 3 times. So we'll see how
I
this
said
goes.
2 words, and you were like, time, and I was like, what?
No, you said a lot more than 2 words. And you didn't say them that fast, either. All right, so everyone, of course, we're talking about Argentina's whatever favorite segment. Did
Steven.
If you want to do it, just do it.
No, it's a thing.
Hey, look over there. Did Steven watch the episode this week?
Episode this week. find out.
All right, buddy. I have less and less faith in you going into this segment the more we do it. But you seem confident, so let's see where this goes. I've got my clock
good.
ready. Are you
I'm
set?
I'm feeling good, Zach. The wind is behind me.
I want you to sway me.
We got the wind in our sails.
Again, you had me and you lost me. Let's good Weezer song from 2016, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, I've got the clock set up. Are you ready, pal?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Joe Biden's coming to Greendale, you, City College, and they're going to have an election, so they have to make a class president because they don't have one. And then everybody's running Annie against Magnitude and Jeff, but Jeff thinks it's all a joke, but they're running against each other. Then Abed's talking to a Secret Service girl because he found them out, and they're just like, I like you, Abed, do you? And then they're going to all run together, and Annie has a lot of platforms, but Jeff doesn't take it seriously. And guess who ends up winning? South Park.
South Park was stricken from the record.
South was there.
No, it wasn't.
Delay.
I
panicked, but I got a lot of stuff.
But you did get a lot of stuff, but it was not confident. But you did get a lot of stuff. So I think I'll meet you in the middle, and it was a B-.
B-? Huh. I feel like it's a little harsh. I feel like it was at least
No,
a B.
because you were like, I don't know. It was...
I did name multiple candidates.
I want you to treat it like an art form. You did name multiple candidates. I feel like the grade is what it is, okay? The grade is what it is.
Okay.
I don't change my mind. Once I've
Can
said
I
it,
maybe meet the teacher after class and we can...
talk about some extra credit?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool.
What was your favorite funny moment from this week's episode? It was a really funny one.
Yeah, it was a really funny one. So I have 3. The one that I already kind of laughed about was the Maria from Nicaragua.
That is a funny moment.
That one was really funny. I thought that Troy's just like notches in there when Abed was keeping tally like an actual thing was good.
Super Troy.
And then of course when Troy was like asked for the apple juice, can I get some apple juice? Fresh squeeze.
I swear to God,
or
Maurice.
so help me God, Maurice. That was so funny.
And you can hear a voice behind me like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was really funny too.
That was a funny moment. My favorite funny moment was none of those, though. It's the first time Pierce's berating of Vicky happens because it comes really out of nowhere. It happens before you know that it's because of a pencil or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm going to crush you, Vicky. What does he say? He's like, he says like something about eating her like a melon or I don't know.
He says something really.
It's just really bizarre. And Pierce... or Chevy has that like tent in his eyes. I don't know. It makes me laugh. It's really
that was
line.
a really funny like tiny storyline to give Pierce something to do that like, yeah.
Like here's Chevy. You want a bone? You want it?
Yellow
Go,
shirt.
Go get it. Go over there and get it. I'm 66, dick.
It was also pretty funny when Britta ran up there. She's like, people don't need to be governed, and he's like, well, good to know there's a floor on this thing.
Yeah, that was a good one. Well, I say let's jump into this thing. What did you think of this week's episode as a whole?
I thought it was really funny. It's definitely, not as, like, out of the box as last week's episode, but I kind of like that. I think that Season 2 so far has nailed all the just Greendale episodes, which is good. Season 1 had, like, some hits, right, with, like, pottery and physical education, but it also had some
misses
so much
with the Greendale-centric episodes.
Yeah, but I think that this is like a really great, like, Greendale is Greendale now, and there are so many other characters that, only 3 of the candidates are study group members, and 5 of them are not, and I think each of those 5 brought something to the table, except for Vicky, you worthless piece of shit. But the rest of them are great.
God, Vicky's wonderful.
Yellow shirt, hat.
I really agree with you. And honestly, if I told you where this one ranks on my list, you'd probably be surprised because
Really?
I really, really, really love this episode. There's so many things about it that I think are hilarious, and it's simple, but it's also deeply bizarre, like the weirder episodes of Community have been. And I think a lot of times the episodes that impress me the most aren't the off-the-wall concept ones, because I know they can do that and wing it. It's when they do something that's just set within the school and is a school-type setting storyline, like a class election in this episode.
Yeah.
And they put that community twist on it, and they knock that out of the park. Those are the ones that often make me laugh harder. And it's probably in my top handful of episodes of season 2 so far.
Wow.
I really like it a lot. Let's dig into it. I don't know. I have kind of I'm here and there when it comes to the way the show writes off Pierce's pill addiction in the very beginning moments of this episode.
Yeah, it's fine.
The joke is kind of funny, I guess. He talks about comparing dick sizes with a celebrity in rehab. And the thing about it that does make me laugh is when someone says, well, okay, Pierce, we're glad to have you back. And you see everyone's reaction to it, where everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah,
Britta says, yeah, sure, I'm glad. Or Troy's line before that about he can't wait till he's in rehab comparing penis size with a celebrity. Pierce is like, oh, your day will come, buddy. But when everyone's reacting to Pierce being back, I like Jeff's little shrug that he gives. He's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then I do like the bit, because I don't know, they did a lot with Pierce's drug addiction, but they kind of only did it because they wanted to do the hospital documentary episode.
Yeah.
So now that they're done with that, they're like, okay, we got to mention it, but let's push it away as fast as possible. I didn't need to have Community do a season-long arc about Pierce's recovery from addiction, but it just feels very, very, okay, we're going to put this way over here.
Yeah, they're like, okay, 28
Never to be
seconds
mentioned
and
again.
we're done.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they kept him in the wheelchair and casts and stuff from his previous injury, they could have milked it a little bit more. But whatever, that doesn't really put a hindrance on the episode, because it doesn't really have anything to do with the episode.
No.
Britta is the one of all people you would think. We've said this before. Britta's done it before, where she says, "I think we should study," and you would think Annie would be the one to say, "I think we should study." But there is a really funny bit where the show kind of hangs shit on itself for how very, very little this season has had anything to do with anthropology or any of the classes that they're taking together.
Yeah.
Which is something that season 2, I think, is vastly superior to season 1. But it does feel a little bit removed from them being a study group that's studying anthropology together, especially this last stretch of episodes. Do you think?
Oh, totally. They haven't mentioned it other than, I think the last time I remember them being in class was...
I'm going to have to look.
Yeah, it was more recent than the...
Because John Oliver was in
episode.
21st Century Romanticism, but it wasn't about class.
But it wasn't about class.
Dungeons & Dragons wasn't about class. Celebrity Pharmacology wasn't about class. Asian Population Studies, I don't think had any class in it either. Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas didn't. Mixology Certification didn't. It was Conspiracy Theories and Interior Design, I think.
Yeah.
And maybe even not then.
Was it, though? Because I don't think they were in class in that one.
And
so
before
it
that
was
was
stuff.
Cooperative Calligraphy. And
Uh-huh.
before that was the Aerodynamics of Gender. I think that one had some class talk in it. I don't know. It's not worth just listing every episode of the season so far. It's been pretty far
It
removed
might have
from
been
this
since the
season.
Abed Jesus episode.
Wow.
That's the last one I remember
Since we've
them
actually
being in class.
seen them in anthropology class.
Yeah.
I say that it's conspiracy theories because in that one we don't see them in class, but they're making a diorama for the class.
True.
Anyway, it's been a while, and the show totally hangs shit on themselves for it. And this little bit to where they all like open their books and they're like, okay, I guess we're gonna study. Jeff really like looks around expecting something to happen. It's like chapter 4, and then the dean comes in, gets a lovely entrance. And my favorite part about it is when the dean shows how badly he needed this today to be able to walk into a room and everyone's glad he's
Like,
there.
yes!
It's like, oh, he says thank you. And he talks about the exciting news that Vice President Joe Biden is visiting community colleges as a tour for about teaching, going from school to school. And I mean, Joe Biden doesn't have a lot to do with this episode. It's just kind of the catalyst for the school election thing. But it's funny to see a couple of Biden jokes now that he's the president of the United States.
Yeah, it's, you know.
Folksy but progressive. He does walk like that line.
He does.
He kind of does. I think it's just that nowadays people don't want folksy but progressive on the progressive side. They want progressive and progressive on the progressive side.
Yup. It's funny, like, how different the political landscape is than even just 2011, right?
Well, I think in America, because of Trump, it's going to be different forever now.
Yeah.
Or at least for a while.
Is he going to run again?
You know that he probably will.
Great.
Fingers crossed that he dies first.
You know, when I was in town, now I didn't drive around a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I only saw one.
Didn't see as many Trump signs. There are
I
people
only saw
that
one giant Trump flag in front of a house.
There's
one.
still people that have flags doing deliveries. I see all of them. There are a lot in Alexandria. There are a lot in parts of Anderson. But I have noticed that people have taken them down since he hasn't won the election. Which, as much as the Trump sign makes me angry, it is a little bit different if they were only keeping it up during election season to show support for their candidate rather than the people who keep it up as like the cult of Trump.
Yeah, I think getting a giant flag is a little much.
There are people. Did you see the truck that's got 2 Trump flags waving large size on the back of his truck at all times?
Yeah.
So they're really excited that Joe Biden's coming. It's great for Greendale. You're coming there instead of City College, which makes them feel superior. And Abed brings up in a side comment that starts off his whole story for the episode that he's noticed that people have been surveilling the school and that it must be Secret Service if Joe Biden's coming. And it's interesting because nobody has noticed that they're being surveilled, but Abed is Abed, and he picked up on it right away. Jeff thinks he's just saying something. That what does he say? That will your life ever come out on Blu-ray? Wow, so topical, Jeff. Blu-ray. Blu-ray is still a thing, though. And this was a while ago. This was like 10 years ago. I guess Blu-ray is kind of a thing. If you're still into physical media, I don't think everybody's into physical media.
I'm not really.
Yeah, I've
been using it more because I've been watching The Office on DVD because I refuse to pay for Peacock, and I do not.
I get it for free with Xfinity. I like to have physical media for a collection, but it's very rare that I watch my physical media, honestly. Yeah. Right as Jeff is kind of making fun of Abed for saying that, a guy dressed up as a janitor outside is like, they got me. They've seen us. Scatter. So there are Secret Service all over Greendale, which is a funny thing running in this episode. And the dean mentions how they need to have a student government because Joe Biden's going to shake hands with the leader of the student government, and Greendale doesn't have one. So they have to have a whole student president election, and thus kicks off the episode. It's a short episode with one direct plot, so it's cool that they just kind of get it going right away.
Yeah, I like that.
Just get the jokes going.
They don't do a lot for Shirley in this one, or really Britta.
Shirley doesn't do anything other than cheer on
Annie,
and Britta just has a couple of moments where she gets shit hung on her. But this is a really funny moment with the dean bringing up his Uncle Sam costume, and he says it's his sister's and it's tailored for ladies, but it's short notice, so I guess he's going to have to put it on. And Jeff's line of,
"But you could not dress up like Uncle Sam. Or admit you don't have a sister."
Annie immediately just lights up because, of course, she'd want to be the school president. I'm sure it was something she wanted to do in high school, but was going on her own journey at the time and didn't do anything like that. Okay, so what do you think about Jeff in this episode? He's kind of a snarky asshole, but do you dislike him?
I don't dislike Jeff at all in this episode, actually, surprisingly. This is one where I think season 1 Jeff, I would have been like, don't be such a dick. But it works in this one because I think that because Jeff's not doing it to be an asshole, he's doing it because politicians are assholes, and he's like, Annie, don't take this so seriously. It's stupid.
It's Greendale.
Yeah.
That Jeff talking shit about Greendale kicks off the joke that ends the open tag, or the cold open. I said cold open and end tag at the same time. I said in the open tag. Abed has notches in the table for classic wingers, and you're right, it was a bunch. I don't know Roman numerals.
I really don't know Roman numerals at all. Once it gets past the X,
has notches for every time someone mentions his abs. and Britta says something annoying, and it cuts to Troy doing a notch as he's like shaking his head knowingly. And you think it would be that, you know, stupid shit Britta said, but it just says notches.
Just notches.
Really funny. It's super Troy. He's been noticing that everyone does that and wants to be a part of it. What a sweet boy. Troy has been such a quiet MVP this entire season.
Oh, definitely.
It's going to be sad when we get to the show without Troy, but I think the show sets itself up by the time he leaves, and I also think there are times in the show where you can tell that Donald Glover isn't quite as committed as he was at other times.
Yeah,
that when
later
he
in the
left,
show.
I think it was fine, but in these early seasons with the energy and that he gives off, it's impossible to imagine it without him.
Well, I mean, and how well every character plays off of him, and it's just so good. Because because I think that every character plays off of Jeff really well too. Shirley being the least of that.
Yeah.
But every character plays well off of Donald.
It's crazy how close to the end of season 2 we are already. After
We're
this,
getting
there's
there.
7 episodes.
Wow.
We'll have to start making some plans for our end of season 2 wrap up thing. Like
Yeah,
we did
I'm
for
excited.
Season 1. We'll have to do a giveaway. We'll have to give some shit away to people.
Come get some shit, you bird bitches.
Shit on the floor.
Little bit.
Did you see the Rick and Morty season 5 trailer? There's a new
I
trailer.
saw there is a trailer. I haven't seen the trailer yet.
It was funny.
Did I finish season 4? I did finish season 4, I think.
Have you watched Solar Opposites?
Okay, my chiropractor keeps telling me to watch that. He's a really big fan of that.
The second season just came out. It's very much in the same vein as Rick and Morty, and if anything, like it doesn't take itself as seriously as Rick and Morty does.
So
and that
it might
makes
let it be a little funnier.
a little bit more fun. It's you could totally compare it like Tuca and Birdie to BoJack Horseman. They
Okay,
have a
and
lot
I
of the same
loved
DNA,
Tuca
but
and
they're
Birdie.
different shows. And Tuca and Birdie got deep sometimes, like BoJack
Yeah.
Horseman, but it was mostly fun. Solar Opposites is mostly fun. It's really fun.
Okay, I'll like that. Who picked up Tuca and Birdie? Was it Adult Swim?
Adult Swim. It's going to be on Adult Swim.
Is it going to be as, like, can they still make it the same way on Adult Swim?
They released a clip from it. I couldn't tell if the animation looked different or not, but if it does, it's slight and probably just because they didn't make it for a year or two, and the voice cast is all the same.
Well, because the Netflix
I don't know how many
one was
episodes they'll do.
was pretty TVMA at times.
I think they'll be able to get away with it. I think they can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought Tuca and Birdie was really funny. I
Tuca
enjoyed
and
it
Birdie
quite a
was
bit.
really funny. I highly recommend it if you haven't watched it, and I'm really glad that it got brought back. It seemed there was
And
no
like you said,
chance
the
it'd be
voice
coming
cast
back.
on there was phenomenal.
Steven
Really
Yeun
good.
is my favorite part of Tuca and Birdie.
He's so funny.
Speckle, so cute.
Yeah. What's the movie called that he's going to be in?
Minai.
Manai. Yeah.
It's
we gotta watch
out.
that.
It's nominated for Best Picture. He's nominated for Best Actor.
I would love to see him win Best Actor. That'd be pretty great.
I think he's the first Asian American to be nominated for Best Actor, so it would be
Nice.
incredible to see him win. So we get the theme song, which is great, and after the theme song, we get, and I love that the dean at first is giving a really serious speech about democracy and how we take it for granted, but that's not the point. We're getting a dramatic backup from his face to see this outfit, his Uncle Sam outfit. It's really more of an Auntie Sam outfit, right?
It is.
It's got the
Auntie
cute little
Samantha.
sideways tilted hat. The pants are really doing him wonders. Look at those legs.
And the boots. Good God, those are great.
And almost as quickly as he picks up the serious talk about democracy, he lets it go to be like, so if anyone wants to be president, just line up by the ice cream machine.
I love that applause will determine who gets into the primaries. He's like, look, you clap for them.
His hand scale of laughter that he uses throughout the episode is beautiful. The dean really stands out in this episode, but in a way that blends in with the world of the show more. He doesn't really steal attention away from anything, but he is very funny throughout the episode.
Yeah.
He has to make it clear to all the people in the cafeteria as if that's what they're thinking about at that moment. Like, oh, it's my sister's. It was last minute. I had no choice. After this, we get a scene between Jeff and Annie where they're kind of jabbing at each other about first we get the line you were talking about, I think, where Jeff talks about the dean's sister, and if it's the same sister that tweets Jeff to ask if he thinks her brother's cute. But this scene is kind of Jeff and Annie jabbing at each other a little bit about the school election and how it leads to them both deciding to run, or at least Annie deciding more vehemently to run, because Annie's taking it really seriously and gave Jeff flyers to hang up, and Jeff is Jeff. So I like the visual. The entire stack, it's got to be like 300 pieces of paper that are just duct taped to one part of the wall.
Very funny.
Yeah, and I like the way this scene is shot and this conversation is shot. It felt a little bit less sitcom-y than what Community is sometimes. It felt very real. I don't know if it's the way it's shot, and maybe it's because Jay Chandrasekhar directed it and he's not someone who's working in-house with Community every other week. Maybe it has a little bit of a visual style to that scene. But I really liked it.
Like.
What does it feel like?
Just like sitting here without the audio and really focusing on the background of the shot. You know how in Law & Order, whenever they're talking, there's like so much happening around them that they're just like literally just two people that are talking to each other?
Yeah, there's a lot of background action. It's not just them sitting in one place.
With a pretty
there's
girl.
not like a focal point. Yeah.
Leonard's eating a lollipop. He's got a sucker.
We get the first of the parade of people running for president. The first one's Garrett, who looks so uncomfortable. And the dean gives him the instructions. He's going to explain his case, and then they'll applaud to decide if he goes on to the next round or not.
All right, tell everybody your name. Garrett? Okay, Garrett. And why do you want to be president?
I wanted ice cream, so I got in line.
Okay.
And then the dean right back at him. He wanted ice cream. What do we say, gang? Does he make it for the next round? And he does. These people will just clap for anyone. Pretty funny. The bar's been set. We get a little glimpse of a Secret Service person scanning over the room. I don't know how everyone wouldn't notice them. They're not being...
They're in suits with dark glasses,
They
which
look
is
like
exactly
what you
how...
think Secret Service people look like.
Like when I've gone to see, like, I've never seen an acting president speak, but like presidential candidates speak or anything like that. You absolutely know who the Secret Service are because they're standing over there in glasses with earpieces, talking into their fists like this every 5 seconds.
They're ready
you know
to kill you at any moment, at all times. So it's not exactly like low key.
Do you think that they had to like change their call sign because of coronavirus? Because if they walked around going this all the time, somebody would kill them because they'd be like, "Oh, outbreak monkey." You know, hopefully they're not black, otherwise there'd be a hate crime involved. But
I don't think I have a response for that.
That's fair.
But
I was kind of just going on I was going somewhere with that one.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all? So Garrett goes to the side because he's making it to the next round. Annie and Jeff continue that conversation, and it does have a little bit of a different visual style as they talk. It just feels different. It feels like a different show just a little bit, but it's a good scene. And Jeff is starting to drive home his points about how this is stupid and politics in general are stupid, about popularity and parlor tricks, he says. And I guess, I don't know, do you think he's trying to subconsciously protect Annie from getting her hopes up and having it not work out? So
I didn't see it that way, but he could be
projecting.
I saw it as more him just like projecting his own, how he feels about politics and probably how he felt about himself, because he was a very egotistical person for a long time, still is, but
and I'm sure the type of lawyer that he seems to be, it makes me think of a really razzle-dazzle Saul Goodman type lawyer. There's some similarities to that in the way that politicians present themselves to people. Maybe there's probably some jealousy, or there's some reminding him of his past job, and maybe a former Jeff Winger would have been all about winning all these people over and trying to be the class president. And now he's kind of like, oh, no, that's so stupid. And, of course, he gets dragged into it a little bit later. But I don't know.
And he hits him with the line, like, he's like, just ask a lawyer. And she's like, well, if I see one, I will.
Oh, yeah. That was and you see it in Jeff's face that's the moment that he decides, okay, well, I'll show her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next we get Vicky, and I have not appreciated your malice towards Vicky. What did Vicky do to you?
Well, she's got a yellow
shirt. It's
shirt.
not easy to pull off yellow. And
she's got a yellow shirt.
And she wears a yellow shirt.
And a hat.
Oh, it's a girl. It's Vicky. Who are you? She says, Vicky. Who's up for some Vicky? And enough people are for Vicky to move on to, but, just about everyone makes it through.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get the meet cute between Abed and Special Agent Robin Vollers, played by the great Eliza Coupe, right?
Mm-hmm.
She is a very, very talented comedic actress, and we need
I like
her in more stuff. And she's drop dead beautiful. This was
She's
10
so
years ago,
pretty.
and she looks the exact same still.
Yeah, has not changed.
She and her other Secret Service guy that she works with come to randomly search Abed's stuff. They're taking notice of him because he's been taking notice of them. Lily and I watched this last night, and this scene has some weirdness because of race implications. Do you agree?
I think a little bit, yeah.
The meet cute happens and the story reason happens, but
they
really
definitely
it's Secret Service
search
dudes
his
that are
stuff.
approaching a brown kid because he seems suspicious.
Yeah, I think that maybe the initial thought was, okay, they're searching him because he knew they were there.
Yeah.
But it definitely looks like they're searching the brown kid's bag.
Yeah, that's what we thought. They look through it, they don't find anything, and as Robin pats Abed down, they kind of get their, like I said, a meet cute, and they get to talk to each other. He talks about how he's used to being the only person who notices things, so he noticed them, and the Secret Service woman says that they're not used to being noticed by anyone at all, which Abed finds sad, and it creates a little warmness between the two of them without any of them giving it away at all. It's a really nicely acted moment between the two of them.
Yeah, I love to see it.
I honestly think this is one of my favorite times that they give Abed any type of adjacent love story.
Yeah.
I think I like this one, and I like Eliza Coupe, but she plays off of Danny Pudi really well, and it has the same kind of calculated movements and words, but in a different way. It's really cute and bizarre and funny.
Yeah, I know that it's not realistic because she would not be a recurring character on the show, but I almost wish that, it went a little bit further.
There would have been a return appearance.
Yeah.
They make it seem at the end that there could be.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the movie. It's probably not the movie, but it could be.
That's the movie.
They find out that Abed's clean other than a bootleg that he has of the last Airbender movie. And Abed's, where were you a week ago? Because it's a bad movie. It was funny. And he looks at both of them and they don't react to his joke, but he knows that he's funny. So you can keep it. And he walks away. Leonard makes the cut. He's going to the next round. He raspberries the microphone. Next up is Annie. It really does just seem like anyone can come through. But Annie comes with a more dedicated speech about how she actually wants to do some things with Greendale, make it a strong community college in the Greendale area, and people like it. People like being talked to that way. She's in the running, no problem. If Annie was at your school and there was a class president race, would you think she's cool or would you make fun of her? Would you vote for her or would you vote for like the cool guy, Jeff?
I don't know that I would. If it was between the two of them only, I'd probably vote for Annie.
Okay.
But if it were out of everybody up there, I would absolutely vote for the magnitude.
Hell
pop,
yeah.
pop.
Okay. So the next moment is funny too. Someone else is about to come up and Britta pushes them out of the way. And I love the way she's like, I'm sorry, I got the heat. I gotta go. And she runs up the stage and takes the mic to like stand up in front of everyone and lead a rebellion, and literally no one reacts. No one makes a noise. She's not going through. She acts like she doesn't care. She says out loud that she doesn't care. But it's nice, as the dean says, because we see that there's a floor on the thing. Not just anyone can make it through. Shirley, you're right. It doesn't get much in this episode. This is one of her only moments where she congratulates Annie, gives her a hug, and is really just there to let Annie talk more about what she wants to do.
Yeah.
It's sad. But it's interrupted because Jeff Winger is running for president, and I don't think Annie was really worried at all about any competition, and when Jeff comes up, that changes things.
Well, because she knows how likable Jeff is by everyone,
He gives this folksy, I'm no politician speech, which is very Joe Biden, and his line, I think 9/11 was bad, and freedom, well, that's just a little bit better.
That exact speech is really all it takes to get elected in Indiana, I feel like. Say you like cold beer and dusty boots, and people are like, hey, I like those things. I'm a hardworking man. Say
that you're really impassionate about bad events from American history that enable racism to people different than you. That'll get you in.
Every night I lie awake thinking about Pearl Harbor and 9/11, and I never
And what
Want
would
my
have happened
country.
if I was in that plane?
If I was in that plane, boy, I tell you, I would have turned around and landed on a football field just in time for kickoff.
Sorry, boy, we can't get you the vaccine right now. I'm out running for the Senate.
Vaccinate this pansy.
Donnie's voting for me. That's all I need. I don't know. After the commercial, we get the first of Troy and Abed's political commentating segments.
great.
And they're one of the highlights of the episode.
Decision Gate.
I watched so much TV like this during the election, so it's really fun to watch a parody of it.
Yeah.
Still kind of thinking about that. Of course, it's so iconic when they introduce themselves.
For Greendale Campus TV, I'm Abed Nadir.
And I'm Troy Buttsuit Barnes. What? That's my name.
Really, really funny. We're learning a little bit about all of the candidates, and we've got to take a look at each of these.
Yeah, we need to
flashes,
pause
okay?
them all.
Annie Edison, I believe in Greendale. She's 19. Her ethnicity is hot. Boobs, yes.
Yes.
Party, school, improvement.
What a glowing resume that is.
What do you think Annie's real political party would be? Do you think she's a Democrat, or do you think she might be a Republican? I think it could go either way.
Yeah, I think it could go either way with Annie.
After Annie, we've got Leonard Rodriguez, who we comment that he changed his name so he could
sway the
Mexican vote. I remember all wars, is his quote. Age, indeterminate. Ethnicity, non-Hispanic. Nickname, Kid Cincinnati. And he's, of course, of the Whig Party.
What a sweet picture of Leonard.
I agree. After Leonard's Alex Starburns Osborne, his quote, that is hot. He is 46. He's Cambodian.
Yeah.
His DJ name is Sparkles, and his party is legalization. Not of anything in particular, just
In
legalization.
general. Creepy.
Possible
seems Greek.
drug dealer. Jeff Winger, one of the absolute most headshot-ass photos of Joel McHale
Yeah.
for the show. I regret nothing is his quote. His weight, fit. His ethnicity, Northern European. His kryptonite, women's tears. And his party, libertarian. I think they could have done better with making some jokes about Jeff, but I absolutely do buy that he would be a libertarian.
Yep.
Like, young libertarians are just people that are afraid of the repercussions of calling themselves a Republican openly.
Yep.
Next up, we've got Magnitude, and his quote is, he's awake who thinks himself asleep. Keats.
I also like that he's 16.
He's 16.
He's 16 years old.
That goatee. His eye color, ultraviolet. His workout mix, Black Eyed Peas. And party, you know it. That's very Austin Powers. Sex, yes please.
Yes, please.
Who else we got? After Magnitude, Pierce Hawthorne, screw you, when they asked him for a quote. Age 66, dick. He followed B&L for the summer. Naked ladies, great. His favorite Roman emperor is Caligula, and his party
Nice.
is the Pierce Hawthorne party. I can definitely see Pierce being asked a question and going, well, I'm the Pierce Hawthorne party.
Yeah.
That tracks for me.
He's got night terrors.
After that, we get Garrett Lambert. It's like God spilled a person. I like the picture of Garrett. His quote, I like ice cream. And his allergies, pollen, penicillin, pet dander, peanuts, strawberries, ragweed, dust, hay, gluten, dairy, water, etc. Water. What is ragweed, and how do you find out that you're allergic to it?
It's one of those things that, like, when you get the test that tells what you're allergic to, which only people who are allergic to everything get.
Yes.
They're like, okay, let me see what else I'm allergic to, and, like, you're allergic to every single thing. Ragweed's always on there, but I've got no idea what it is, or how you smoke it, or who grows it.
But Garrett's super allergic to it. Don't give it to him. I like how with Vicky, we're about to look at her card. I like how this episode really pulls on the side characters that Greendale has built up.
Yeah.
And Vicky is the newest one, and the show treats her as almost as if she did not exist before the moment that she was in this episode. The picture is from slightly earlier when she's on stage. All it says about Vicky, nothing.
Yellow shirt,
but they
hat,
commentate yellow
girl.
shirt, hat. And then they kind of, Troy and Aved try to bullshit some political conversation, but they both don't really know anything about politics. They just want to do the thing. It's pretty funny. What's up with
I like
politics?
the stuff at the bottom of the screen. Like, it says, like, the human being mascot offensive to animals. And then it says something about, I don't know if it's in this one or later on, but it says that like Duncan has quit drinking again.
Oh, I didn't see the Duncan one. That's funny.
Yeah.
Chess club, moves, meeting, and then it cuts away.
Unexpectedly.
I love this joke too. After they cut from doing their show, Abed notices the Secret Service woman and says something about her and says that she's been following him. And Troy says, do you just constantly have your own side adventures? And Abed, without even hesitating, yep. And Troy says, me too.
Me too.
It's a really good Troy moment and a really good Abed
Yeah,
moment.
both of them.
It's very cartoony.
Abed has a great episode this week.
A very like slight good episode. It's like a blink and you'll miss it how good of an Abed episode this one is. Now it's time for the debates. All of the people that are running for president are out. I'm so impressed that Greendale could afford all of those microphone
I was just about to
podiums.
say, why do they have 8 of those?
I remember the days of the dean bragging about their $2,000 desk and judge's table.
Came with speakers.
Annie and Jeff are smiling and shaking hands for the people, but they're jabbing each other with their words.
It's much like us.
Yeah, but we're not jabbing each other with our words.
Oh, yeah, not words.
Yeah, the vaccine hurt nothing like what I'm used to. So when Steven just beats on me a little.
Hey, yo.
So Annie says that Jeff's not running sincerely, and Jeff isn't willing to back down. He knows that people love him and that politics are a joke, and if he treats it like a joke, that it'll probably work out in his favor. And Annie is like, fine, sorry if this is about hanging my flyers, and then says to Jeff pretty straightly that I'm going to beat you and I'm going to make you cry. It's it's almost like the Anchorman moment where Ron Burgundy and I forget Christina Applegate's character's name in that, when they're co-anchors and the lights go off and they start talking like shit about each other while they're ruffling their papers.
Great scene.
Annie says
Can't
shove his foot
anchor
up.
a man cast.
We don't have to do a podcast about everything we like.
Well, you can't, you man't disappoint an Ankcast man.
Yep, coming up next April Fool's Day.
Ankcast man 2.
Yeah, they do the name rhymey joke here that we mentioned for a little bit. It's something Community does a lot and gets on my nerves, but I like this one since they turned it around and Annie just said a name of someone that she knows, not a celebrity.
Yeah.
He owns a mattress store downtown. You can look it up.
You can look it up.
And then this is that Pierce moment that I love so much. Pierce is such a nothing in this episode, but this moment's so funny. Vicky, okay, so he like, psst, Vicky, at her, and Vicky doesn't open her eyes. She doesn't move. It's clear from Vicky's demeanor that this has been going on for some time.
Hey, Vicky. Psst. Vicky, look at me. Psst. I'm going to crush you.
Pierce, stop that.
I'm going to eat your brains, Vicky. I'm going to slurp them right out of that melon you call a head.
A reminder to all candidates, your microphones are currently on.
Well, they better be, because I'm on fire up here. You freak people out, you know that? You look weird. Because of your overbite.
Oh, okay.
Steven, you know you look weird, right? You freak people out.
Is it because of my overbite?
It's the eyebrows.
Ah!
I don't know.
You and your eyebrows.
Bogdan.
Bogdan.
The dude's like, okay, let's just get started. And he opens the debate. And he gets things moving. The first question is a simple one. If you are elected, what will you do? And Annie is jumping right up. She knows exactly what to say. And we talked about all these. Let's see what the 3 were. Let's see if Daddy slipped one out of us. If Annie's elected, her 3 things that she's going to fix are the black mold from the east stairwell. Oh, wait, he gave us the answers.
Mm-hmm.
So he slipped it. He did slip it right out, right on out.
Yes. Administrative redundancies. The dean's like, I'm right
room.
here.
Come on. Thank you, Miss Edison. I love the dean's outfit.
It's top notch.
Pointy red and white stripes really accentuate his shoulders.
Yeah, the arms look great. The hat's so cute on his little head.
Jeff, when he's asked to give to answer the same question, he has no answer, and he just talks about different students. He definitely plays the politician of relating to every man, right? Or making every man see seen. But every person that he points at and names is someone who's not actually there, as we can very clearly tell by the people looking around.
And this is exactly what it's like. They're like, I met a guy in the hallway today of my hotel. that told me. Beautiful Latina, born in Nicaragua, working in the cafeteria.
It almost sounds like Italian.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a Budabapi.
A Budabapi.
That's Italian, right? That's how you speak. Italiano.
Hey.
Parmigiano Reggiano.
Ah.
The
It's a me,
vaccine.
Mario. Get you the vaccine or you'll get the coronavirus. Oh, why, yeah.
That went so many places.
I'm making a bigger, spicier pizza pie.
Jeff says nothing, but he he does that like flip flop the words from a previous phrase into the next phrase, and everyone eats that shit up. He's gathered in people watching. He's got the loud approval of the audience. But man, he cannot stand next to Magnitude, who's just a one-man party.
He's a one-man party. Pop, pop.
Same question, same answer. Pop, pop. Now we're back to Abed with the Secret Service lady, and she's interviewing him, but this is when it really becomes clear that there's a little bit more than them just being suspicious of him.
Yeah.
They're starting to get to know each other, and they kind of like each other. It's really cute. Do you think this is cute?
I think it's super cute.
And they talk about their duck, duck, goose strategies. Really cute. Were you a Duck, Duck, Goose fan in elementary
I like
school?
Duck, Duck, Goose.
I like Duck, Duck, Goose, but there's always the thing of like, why is no one picking me to be the goose? I guess you never had that, did you? Because you've got those long goose legs.
I do have those long goose legs. So here's the thing.
I guess people just didn't like
being
that I
the
would
duck.
honk at them when they...
Was it the poop? Is that what it was, Zach?
Were you the person? Were you about to say that you were the person who goes duck, duck, duck,
Oh, I went around like 6 times.
duck, or just duck, 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 duck?
I was like duck,
duck.
duck, a duck, duck. I would go around for so long, so I was like, I'm not gonna get to do this again. So, but I was also pretty quick.
I wonder why.
So, yeah, I liked Duck Duck Goose. I think that's a fun game. You know what,
Goose,
Zach?
come on
If
the
we
show,
played Duck
talk
Duck,
about
if we played, I would pick you to be my goose.
Who are we gonna play it with?
We'll find some kids. I don't know.
No, we will not find.
Let's go back to that
some
park.
Kids.
Hey kids, you want to play a game with us,
Hey
cool
kids,
guys?
you want to get vaccinated and play some Duck Duck Goose?
I got some noodles, some needles in the back. I have noodles too.
Oh. Troy comes up and says that Abed and the woman should get a room, and it cuts from that back to Pierce hating on Vicky. His platform is one high enough to push Vicky off to her death. Vicky storms off. The bullying is too much. She can't take it, and Pierce leaves too. He was only there to make Vicky feel bad, so that narrows down the race a little bit. It's almost a like JD and the janitor kind of thing.
Yeah, constant.
I don't know if you remember that in season 9 of Scrubs, there's a little clip of the janitor, and it's like the second he found out JD wasn't working there anymore, he just dropped his mop and left.
Yeah, it's cute. Do you like the janitor on Scrubs? Is that a character
the
you
janitor
like?
is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I do too. You know who I don't like on Scrubs?
Who don't you like on Scrubs?
Elliot.
I haven't watched it enough recently. I don't really like JD or Elliot that much.
Yeah, fair. I like this is kind of off topic. Sorry, I've been seeing a lot more Scrubs because Danny watches it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Dr. Cox. I like Turk. I like Ted.
Aw, Ted.
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 Oh, Breaking Bad cast.
Come on the show. Talk about it.
Come on, Bryan Cranston.
Annie gets really worked up, and I would love to talk to Bryan Cranston. She's really good at talking with her hands, and she starts talking about the black mold, but Jeff turns this against her by making people mad that she's calling Greendale dirty. Which it is. Of course it's dirty. It's disgusting. Clearly it's dirty. But Jeff thinks it's the cleanest school in the entire country, and people really like that, so it villainizes Annie.
The dean is like, you know it.
You know it is. But no, it's not. The only janitor they have is the Secret Service guy that was dressed up pretending to be a janitor.
Well, and it's funny because this is really kind of how politics goes, right? There's always a candidate that's like, I'm going to make this country a better place. And then you have the normally Republican candidate who's like, this is the greatest country to ever exist, and it always has been.
Yeah, you're right there.
And people are like, you know what? We are perfect the way we are.
Yeah.
We don't need to change none.
We're a good kind of racist, right?
Sadly.
It works for me.
I don't hate all black people, just the bad ones.
Just the ones that aren't on TV.
Exactly. I like that Usher. He's got
That
a
Steve
nice
Harvey
voice.
sure has a mustache. I like Usher. That's the one?
That's who, and you can bleep this, but racist ass mom was an Usher fan, and I was like, yeah, but not good enough for your daughter, huh?
Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to bleep that, but good story. Good story. Abed and Troy are commentating over the debate, and Abed mentions that people just like Jeff, and that takes things far. But Annie has a rebuttal, and she turns the mold thing into a rhyme, turns it into a chant, gets everyone going. They start chanting it. It's almost like Arrested Development. Speech. It doesn't matter what you're yelling or what's going to happen because you're yelling it. People just like to yell things together.
It's true. I'm a sucker for a chant. I will hop in almost whatever it is.
And it's a nice moment for Annie. She proves that she is kind of a competition for Jeff, and I think Jeff wasn't expecting it. The dean, when he gets up and starts dancing, is really funny. The elections become a race, and I love the bit with Troy and Aved about the polls and how it's like 50-50 Jeff and Annie, but the margin of error is 98%, and it might be higher because they don't know how to do margins of error.
Basketball team loses ball.
Troy doesn't have an earpiece in, but he looks to his earpiece and he's like, we're taking a break. And we're out. And then when Troy snaps and the smile breaks and he's got like that dead newscaster, like apple juice, freshly squeezed, or so help me God, Maurice. I'll tell you something I didn't get. Why does Pavel come up like this and say it like this? He tells
your dorm room?
No, he's like... He's got almost this kind of like why yada when he says it. He's like, they're trashing up your dorm room real bad, bro. I don't know. It's just very dramatic and old fashioned, and I feel like it's got to be something, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, he's freaking out.
Abed goes back to his dorm room to see the Secret Service guys just absolutely trashing it, and they're doing it as a random spot check. But Abed's starting to see through that it's a spot check. Glenn, the other Secret Service member, leaves to bring the car, and Abed's able to say something to Robin and asks what she's there looking for, and she gives the obvious answer. But Abed sees through that and is like, it's because you got a crush on me, isn't it?
So you want some of this Abed in the dick? I felt bad as I was saying it.
Can I beep that one out? It's not hot when Aved takes a couple steps and she's like, stop right there. And he's like, are you sure? And then the sexiest line, you smell like nice soap. I love nice soap. I have to go. It's very cute. It's almost like an elementary romance a little bit on top of all the weirdness.
Right?
Sorry that you weren't a more serious potential threat to the country. After that, Jeff and Annie are getting ready for their closing statements. They're still kind of jabbing at each other a little bit. Jeff's thinking about smashing a watermelon.
Is that Gallagher? Is that the comedian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I learned that's interesting?
What's that?
Gallagher was two different guys.
What?
There was a point when Gallagher stopped performing as Gallagher, and it was Gallagher's brother who looks just like him, and they called it New Gallagher, and most people didn't know that the person had changed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that...
Come on the show, Gallagher brothers.
Yeah, either one. Both. Next April Fool's, we'll have the show hosted by the two Gallaghers.
What a prank that'll be.
For this audio, primarily only podcast.
I like while Jeff and Annie are having this conversation, you can see magnitude behind Annie, who's just absolutely grooving the entire time.
He's killing it. One-man party.
Jeff and Annie, again, all of these scenes with Jeff and Annie kind of have the same feel to them. They're just ramping up the rivalry between the two of them politically, and it works pretty well. But Annie has a trick up her sleeve that she kind of hints towards, an audio-visual presentation that'll really take things up a notch. The debate starts back up, and the first person to answer a question is Starburns, but he doesn't have an answer. He's actually withdrawing because he's worried that the political career will shine a negative light on his drug dealing. He says it so matter-of-factly, and that is pretty funny. Jeff gives another speech that's just quaint nothings about red, white, and blue, and the crowd eats it up. Magnitude answers his favorite color as pop, and the crowd eats that up. I set him up. That's so funny. Anything you say is setting him up. And Annie doesn't even answer a question. She doesn't even say anything. She just brings up her audiovisual presentation, which is Jeff's 1997 audition tape for The Real World. What do you think of the tape?
I think it's top tier. I think he should have gotten on. It's a shame he didn't.
Oh, absolutely. Joel McHale would have absolutely gotten, or Jeff or whoever would have absolutely gotten on a show like The Real World.
Totally.
The jacket with his name, the hair is phenomenal.
The Real World was a mess.
The parody song is great. I never watched The Real World.
I watched some Real World. I liked Surreal World better because it was the same show but with celebrities.
Apparently, Joel McHale showed up to film this like song tape bit, and they had only given him like a little bit of one verse of the song to sing, but the footage goes on for a while Jeff and Annie talk over it while Jeff gets all upset.
Yeah.
And I guess Joel like made up his own lyrics and came up with a lot extra of it and did
That's
it for
amazing.
like 2 or 3 full minutes, and you can't really hear any of the words. You just hear like the background of it.
That's fantastic. Good on you, Mr. McHale. Come on the show.
Come on the
again.
show.
Let's talk about it.
This is one thing I wish they could have. Embarrassing Jeff is a good thing, but the way he just starts yelling, I hate you all, the way that he just breaks down feels a little bit like a rushed ending.
Yeah, because I feel like I understand him being upset, but nobody out there is like...
So he might be so embarrassed that he runs off the stage, but the tantrum feels unearned. It doesn't really do anything to keep me from liking the episode as much as I do, though, because it's so funny. He hopes they all get black mold poisoning, and the dean, oh, Jeffrey, no. You gotta have Jeff. I have to play the real version of that song at the end of this week's podcast. What is that song actually?
Faith by George Michael.
Oh, you're right. I knew it was George Michael, but I forgot that it was Faith. You gotta have Jeff, of course.
If I could touch your body.
A little bit later, Annie walks into a storage room, or basically, Greendale has so many storage rooms. Every episode, they're meeting up in a different storage room. And Jeff's hiding out from his public shaming, and Annie comes to console him, and he won't even leave the room. And Annie apologizes for going too far. And we get a nice little cute apology scene for Jeff and Annie. Do you think there's not really much of a romantic edge to their rivalry in this episode, kind of like in Debate 109?
Yeah.
But do you think, I don't know, do you think people that love Jeff and Annie see that in this episode?
Oh, I'm sure they do, because they hug at some point. No, I don't think this one's as romantic as Debate 109, because they actually kiss in that one.
Right.
But I think that Jeff and Annie shippers were probably just foaming at the mouth. Like, they're in a room together. Oh, my God, they're going to bone.
Yeah. It's revealed that they've both dropped out of the race, and they talk about how there's a final round of debates going on, and they're interrupted by Troy, who's running to see it. He says it's the political showdown of the century. And Annie and Jeff are so, like, full of themselves that they don't see that Troy doesn't care at all what they're doing. And we cut to what's really going on with the final round, and it's Magnitude versus Leonard, such an absolute classic clip of the series of them going back and forth with their noise character beats.
Pop.
Are you Team Leonard? Are you Team Leonard or Magnitude? Would you be voting Magnitude for sure? Leonard's got so much experience, though.
He does remember all wars.
Which is important.
It is, but Magnitude is a one-man party.
Yes. Jeff and Annie make up, and I don't really care a lot about their makeup, because honestly, it never really seemed that their thing in this episode was really so much that they were like hating each other or like upset at each other.
No.
Just that they were like driving each other and competing against each other.
Exactly.
So I feel like the ending of their storyline is a little false. I think it could have almost been better if it ended in a way where they're both like, all these people are stupid, or like we did something really fun together at the end. I don't know.
Exactly, as opposed to them being like, I'm sorry I hurt you. Because Jeff didn't do a damn thing to Annie. He just...
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, kind of, because he only did this to be an asshole to Annie, really, and that's clear. But I don't know, maybe a quick apology was necessary, but
like,
the
hey,
long
sorry, I was a
thing
bit of
is
an
little-
ass. Yeah.
And then, a very sexually charged hug. I've learned that every hug is a very sexually charged one.
If you're doing it right.
If you're doing it right. Pierce walks up by them, and he's like forlornly turned his head to the side, and he gives some sage wisdom, and it really impresses Jeff and Annie that he's being kind of docile. But then he turns his face, and he's got a pencil stabbed so deep into it that Vicky has stabbed him in the face. And that is earned as well.
It
I don't
is.
blame Vicky.
Professor Slater still missing.
Oh, yeah, I did know that one. Professor Slater still missing. What's after that? No paintball this spring. Troy and Abed are still commentating, talking about the differences between Magnitude and Leonard, how one is just born and one is soon to die. Look, that Leonard picture is so cute, and I like the Magnitude one, too. A competition reflecting the pointlessness of life. That sounds like a Dan Harmon line right there.
Right, doesn't it?
And we get word through his non-existent earpiece that we're going to hear the winner. And I love how anticlimactic all of this ends up being.
Yeah.
A worse show, it would have been Jeff or Annie. And it's surprising that this episode didn't even go that way. But they drop out of it because they both decide that they don't really care. It's Magnitude versus Leonard. And the vote by a landslide with 11 votes cast. It's funny how many people are in the cafeteria, but how few people actually voted.
Right.
The landslide winner of the student election is... And Magnitude's so ready to hear the right news. With 7 votes, South Park. And we get a reveal that that's what happened the last time they had student government 10 years ago. That South Park won the election.
South Park won.
It's probably the same people there from 10 years ago
Yeah.
that are voting for it again. Jeff and Annie bond over how, Annie's stuff was even kind of bullshit because she doesn't know anything about black mold. She didn't know how to clean it up. She was also just trying to rile people up. And she tells herself that it's genuine and that it may come from a more genuine place, but that doesn't make it any less prepared like Jeff's stuff.
Yeah.
Troy and Abed sign off in a shocking upset. The Comedy Central cartoon series South Park has won the election. They reveal that they both voted for it, which is also really funny. We get a handshake, a really cute let's never stop being friends between the two of them.
Yeah, if you pause real quick,
sign off.
it also said on the bottom of the screen, school dances down 200%.
And Ian Duncan quits drinking again, I saw.
Yeah, and then before that it said that the dean said he's going to have an end-of-year picnic. It's going to be Western themed. And there was one before that was, reports of air vent monster. So already we're getting...
Chang,
yeah. I guess
I'm
they did show
curious-
that he's there because they showed it in cooperative calligraphy. No, that was the monkeys stuff.
what does Abed say that you can make out of dish soap and cat food? Saffron? Napalm. What is napalm?
Napalm is like this stuff that is in bombs. It's like fire.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why would you say that, he says. I don't get that.
Well, because it's not something you'd normally say, but he said it so that it would like flag the school so that he'd get to see her again.
Oh, I didn't get that he was flagging the school. I get it. I didn't know what napalm was, so I didn't get that joke at all. That makes it funny. Mm-hmm. Robin gets a call from the vice presidential escort car in the same seat as Joe Biden. And she gets a call that she needs to go back to Greendale and check something out. And we see like the side shot of someone pretending to be Joe Biden. And he's told that they have to go back to Greendale, but not to worry about it. And Biden this whole time is like,
Yeah.
and then a voice that doesn't really sound like him at all says the line. I didn't know if they were trying to make some type of joke about Biden here or not. I don't know.
I think maybe they just didn't have a very good Joe Biden impersonator.
Yeah. And then we get the end tag, which is a rare end tag that actually kind of wraps up the plot line of the episode. Apparently, originally, there was a makeout scene between Abed and Robin, but they decided that it went too far, so they cut it, which made me think, maybe this episode was re-edited a little bit, and this scene that is the end tag was going to be earlier in the episode, but they've used it as an end tag instead.
Yeah.
So I think that would kind of make sense.
Yeah, I like this better, though, than if they just had them, like, make, I don't know. It would have been cool, I guess, but...
Yeah, I like this, too. Abed's watching Kick Puncher from his dorm room, and it's revealed that Robin's watching it from what do you call this? Like a decoy
van or
a
whatever?
stakeout van, yeah, is watching the movie with binoculars with Abed. And after the movie wraps up, Abed talks to her through shadows, I would imagine.
There's a bug in his lamp.
Oh, there's a bug. I didn't get that either. I thought she was able to see something because the way he shined light on his face.
Oh, no.
There's a bug in his lamp, so he's able to say, hey, that was fun to watch a movie with you. Do you want to do it again sometime? Honk once if no, twice if yes. And it's a really cute honk, pause, second honk. And Abed says, cool, cool, cool. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah. Cute.
That's it. You know, that's kind of how I feel. Maybe I have to look at my list again because I do really, really, really love this episode, but it kind of loses some momentum in the end.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
The last 4 or 5 minutes kind of lose me a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, I think everything from like right after the opening to Jeff and Annie's apology is really good. And then it kind of fizzles.
Yeah, I agree with you. Everything about the election in the cafeteria is hilarious. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is really great. I still think it's a solid B+, A- episode.
Really good.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. I haven't put really that much thought into my MVP for this week. I kind of usually go on a whim, and I think I've decided that my MVP is the Dean. I'll give it to the Dean. He's a really funny centerpiece of the whole election storyline. He makes me laugh every time he's on screen, whether he talks or not. And I don't know, Jim Rash is such a blessing to our television screens. So it's the Dean for me. Who is it for you? I think I have a guess.
Yeah, as great as I thought Abed was in this episode, I think it's a good Jeff episode too. I gave it to the Dean as well.
I thought you were going to give it to Abed.
I liked Abed a lot. I almost gave it to Abed, but I think the Dean for me was the best part of the episode.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And that's it. That's the episode. It's a really funny episode of Community, a real classic. Nothing is more iconic than Magnitude and Leonard. Pop, 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 pop. Super funny. I love it. It was really fun to revisit it and talk about it. Next week, we'll be back for... Let's see if I can remember the title. It's a weird one, isn't it?
Something custody.
Custody law and Eastern European diplomacy. We'll be talking about that next week. So send in your trivia, MVP, and favorite funny moment to can'tdisappointpodcast@gmail.com. Steven, where else can the people find us online?
Well, my good sir, you can find us on the intranet. We're on social media on Twitter at YouCan'tDisapod. We're on Instagram
Is this in reference to something?
No. We're on Instagram at Can't Disappoint Podcast, and then we're on Facebook and YouTube at You Can't Disappoint a Podcast.
Yes. I was ready to say no. We sure are all of those things. And if you like this show and you want to support us, want to help us take it farther like we've been beginning to already, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/can'tdisappointpodcast. There's all kinds of stuff over there. There's weekly podcast content, whether it's our live You Can't Disappoint a Podcast pre-show, You Can't Dis a pre-show, or my side show, Nerdstalgia, where we tackle all kinds of nostalgic media from the past, or any other type of fun things we have going on over there. We did a Scrubs podcast. It's always going on, and you can support us and get all of those podcasts as low as $5 a month. And with the other tiers, you can get all kinds of things like being listed on our show every week and being a part of the show and influencing what we do on the show. So if you'd like to help us out, that's the place to do it.
Well, and now's a great time to join because it's the beginning of the month, Zach, and you get charged on the first regardless. So, people will be hearing this in a few days for the most part.
Get a full month of content.
Yeah.
And everything that all the old content from previous months is there too. I think I saw today, there's like 25-ish podcasts for you to listen to on the Patreon. And maybe a couple of those are early accesses, but there's over 20 for sure original podcasts on Patreon that you can't find anywhere else. So go check that out.
That's awesome.
Steven, any final words for the listeners this week?
Yeah, actually just two, and I bet you know what they are. Pop, pop.
I set him up. From inside the Dreamatorium, Black Lives Matter, Stop Asian Hate, get vaccinated. I'm Zach.
I'm Steven.
And I still don't have anything clever to say at the end of it, so I hope you have something on deck. You don't. All right, we'll see you guys next week. It's been really fun. Thanks for hanging out with us. We love you.
Bye, everybody. Stay safe.